Hello everyone. So this is chapter 3 of our little ESP8266 environment monitoring project. So let me just find where we are. So in the first one we did set up the ESP with the wiring, and we set up the IDE, and in the second session or chapter we create a little web server which displays our sensor information and so forth. So in this section, and chapter 3, we gonna look at the NTP server, like the network server time. So the ESP doesn't have actually what they call a real-time clock. So sometimes you have a little battery on some sort of device, even in your computer has a little battery, and that battery keeps the real-time clock running, so that you always have the right time. Our ESP doesn't have that, so what we need to do, or what we can do, is we talk to a time server, if you will, a network time protocol server, and we get the time from this server, and there's different servers there. The government servers, there are like some other servers out there, so we're just going to tap into then one of those, and they give us the time back. So, and the reason why you do this, you want the proper time on your devices. Ideally, you want them all synced, and so you can actually use that timestamp to measure, delays, or just give the accurate time on your measurements. So the way we're going to do this is there's a nice tutorial here. So if you take that URL from the PowerPoint and we go here, all you have to do is install this, and I think it describes it here. Yeah, there is a library you can download. Here you can download this library, and then once it's downloaded, let me just download that for you here. Then when it's downloaded, it's a zip file. You can go to the IDE and just say include, and then add zip file, and then here you just use the library, the zip file we just downloaded, and that should do it. I have it already done. So that file is needed for this particular library here, which we are using. So we're not going to use this actually. What we're going to do is let me just what we're going to do is kill this. In the IDE, there is, once you imported the library, there is a little example. So we're going to start with that example. It's like a basic example. Just call that up, and it just prints out the time. So again, you have to give it your Wi-Fi credentials. Let's see if that works, and then we should get the right time too for you. Okay, so I have to save this time 1. So let me just check in the PowerPoint. Yeah, that's what we're going to do here. So if we deploy this now, let's deploy this to our little ESP. So I have, still connected. If you have problems with deploying it, just unplug the USB cable and plug it back in. That should do the trick. So it's almost deployed here. So all it does basically goes to the server. There's a certain protocol they're using and a method, and then it brings us the time back, and it brings us actually a timestamp, and then we can use this timestamp to extract the time and date and so forth. So here you see I got the time, and you can tell the time is a bit off. I have 2:44, and here it says it's 7:44. And the reason why that is because there are different time zones. So this particular server I used, or most of these servers, they give you the time back in what they call UTC or GMT, and I'm in the Eastern time zone, so we need to adjust the timestamp. You can adjust timestamp or you can adjust the call, same thing. But so you can see here that I am 5 hours behind the UK time, if you will, or the GMT or the UTC time. So what we have to do is there's a little trick here. It's not a trick, but where is it? Where did I put this code? So here's this code. So here's a little code which basically adjusts. So what we have to do is, like, adjust the time by the 5 hours, which is like 5 times 60 seconds, and 5 times, and then times 60 minutes, and then that should be it. And let's go back to our code here, and all I do is paste this in. And also I picked a particular server. You don't have to do that, but so if I save this and run and deploy this again, this should do it. And I think this is a refresh time. So looks like every minute or so, it will actually go out to the server, to this particular NTP server, and resyncs the time. Obviously, we don't need to do that every minute, but And you can read more of this, of the details in that link where we downloaded the library. Here, there's more information on how that works. But we want to go back to our web server after this. So now it's running. So let's just check if we get the proper time, if you will. Yeah, see, now it's a 24-hour clock here, and yeah, now I get the same time as my computer on the chip, and then we can use this time for timestamp. Okay, so that was a setup test. So we have the libraries, we can talk to the server. So let's go back to the GitHub, little code example. So just grab that from the GitHub again. Looks pretty old. Did I not change the date? Guess I didn't. So let's just copy this code here. And paste that into our IDE. Kill this. Okay. And that should be it. Yeah, so the code basically, it's the same line which we had before, and the code is the same code as we used in the other chapters, and it's like just a little web server, except here we want to print out the time. So there's some, if you look for exercise, there's a little bit of time here. So we're going to print out the time. So let me deploy this. Again, you might have to adjust, you have to adjust your Wi-Fi credentials again. Oh, I made a mistake here. Well, let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay, so it's gonna upload this stuff, and then as before, we're gonna get an IP address, and once it's connected to the Wi-Fi network, it goes out to the NTP server and gets the time for us and displays the time and date. That's actually the exercise. So Let's see if it does that. It's uploading. That's done. Okay, let's go to our serial monitor. Still trying to connect. Boom, connected. We get the temperature again, get the voltage, and we also get the time. Here's the time. So let's see. Let's go to our. Let's see if we get the time. Yeah. So here it's, and obviously, every time I refresh, the time goes up. Now we could build an auto refresh here and do some stuff. But anyway, so we get the time, and obviously we know if the temperature changes and so forth. So that sets us up for then the next chapter, where we actually create, take all our information, including the time and the voltage and the temperature and the humidity, and send this to an MQTT broker, which then can process or dispatch the information to Node-RED and Grafana and so forth. So if we go back, yeah, this is the next step we're gonna try to do here in our little example. So we're still here on number 1. Now we got the time, we got the temperature, I got a little web server going. So now the next step is we're gonna actually send this to Node-RED or to an MQTT broker, and here's our IP address. Okay, so stay tuned to the next session, and yeah, play with the code to try to display the date as well. And I talk to you in a bit.